You help me just on this corner, handing me the brush back and forth.
Do you want me to squeeze through there?
The one that's sticking out after I brushed my shirt and my skin.
Are you trying to tell me yes? You want me to?
Yeah. Climb up there and squeeze through and I'll get the pressure.
Are you really done?
Yeah, right to the rest. The only parts that are hard are those corners. I'll probably need your help over the other corner, to be honest with you, because you're a lot smaller than I am.
That's why I asked. You sounded like you were having issues with it. It's crooked. Okay, this is not working.
Just do whatever you can, and then I'll do the rest. Shauna and I have started to put the roof on the building. Basically what we're doing is because of the height of the building and just having ladders and an uneven ground, what we've decided to do is as we place our sheathing for the roof of the building, we're going over the top of the sheathing with a roofing material. Now, this is not going to be our final roofing material. Our roofing material is going to match our house's roof when we're done. It's going to be a metal look that the entire building will match the look and feel of our house. But in the interim, I needed a way of sealing off the roof. So what I've done is I've gone and purchased a roll type roofing, and we're not putting it up in rolls, we're kind of putting it up in patches and then using a glue made by Black Magic to kind of glue them together and seal them. But what we're basically doing is just sealing the exterior of the building off, and then we'll be able to lay the metal roofing right on top of this system that we're doing now. And that metal roofing is going to come much later. We still have to build wings onto the building. So this is just a way of getting us sealed in, and it's substantially less expensive than other roofing materials that I've looked at for kind of a temporary purpose like this. But those will always be there underneath the metal. They're just adding some extra waterproofing for us. It's kind of an asphalt roll. It's made by it's mineral something or other. Mineral Guard, I think is what it's called, and you can use it on shed roofs and things like that. So we've been working on that, and as we've gotten almost up to one side, we'll do the other side, and then we'll go across the top. You'll notice that I've also started putting on my my exterior Tyvek. Now, the reason why we're doing that now is for the same reason that we're doing the roofing the way that we are. By putting on the Tyvek, as I get up higher, I can reach over the edge and staple on my Tyvek and then do the next panel and work my way up. And that's making it a lot easier and a lot safer. It's less time on a ladder, and so it's been going pretty smooth that way. And we're slowly getting this thing dried in or sealed up for for the purposes of where we are in the project. So I think that this has so far gone relatively smoothly. The roof is going a little slower than I was hoping, but hopefully we can get a little further today. This morning I'm also working on the front porch of the building. This porch is important because we need a way to get up and out of the building. Climbing up and out right here has been getting a little treacherous, and I need to get these holes filled in. Now there's concrete at the bottom of these holes. What I'll be doing is putting in posts on concrete piers. And so I've started out with my leader board on the back here, and I've used structural screws to hold that to the building. And then now I'm going to basically figure out the post height and kind of, get this temporarily framed in place with screws so I can get all my measurements and get everything lined up the way I want it. And then I'll go ahead and set everything, set the posts, and once those are set, we'll be able to build and put on the decking material and the stairs, and that'll give us an easier way to get in and out of the building, because right now it can be pretty treacherous trying to get in and out of this thing to do work the way it's currently set up. But this is a project that I'm working on by myself, and then when I get some help, we'll continue back on the roof. The roof is important because we keep getting rained on. This April has been extremely cold and extremely rainy. It hasn't been that conducive to being able to build a building. It's also extremely windy. So when we're working up high, it's windy. But we're slowly getting it done piece by piece, and that's all you can really do in a situation like this, is just keep building it, keep adding to it until you get the final thing done. But right now I'm just going to put on the porch deck. That way we have a way of getting in and out of the building easier.
QDR.com/class of 2020. Let's be sure to give these hard-working graduates the honor they deserve.
Is that aligned with the end?
Nope, not yet. Keep pushing. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Whoop, might be too far. Right, somewhere right in there.
So we were finally onto the gable section of the roof, and I had kind of pre-made a template for how I wanted to do this up top. And so what I'm gonna do is basically duplicate what I built here. So I have one on each side, and I'll probably go ahead and make a few of my rafters for the center, so that as I put this together, I can support the center 1x6 that I've got going across. I had a slight disagreement with our sawzall, so my wife and daughter have been working mainly on the side roofs, and they've helped get it to this point from where I was. I think every time I try and talk, our chickens and roosters go nuts. Unfortunately, where this project is not far from the hen house, and I am surrounded by them all day long. So this is what I hear all day long. So this is an attic fan made by Air Vent Inc. And you can get these at a lot of your big box stores. Nothing special to it. It's got a 10-year warranty. And basically what this does is it has an adjustable thermostat on it, and you adjust that based on the temperature you want building up in your attic space, and it'll basically help circulate out the air and cool it down a bit. What I got this for was basically to create airflow through our barn. And so I've got a pretty good sized one here. This one does about 1,700 square feet of attic space. And so you would think that 1,700 square feet of attic space would be a sufficient fan to pull air through about a 500 square foot or 400 square foot shop space. It's a good thing to have in a shop where you could have fumes from working on a project or something. You could turn it on, it'll pull the air through the building and out through the roof. I'm putting this on now as I install the roof because it'll be a lot easier. It comes with a little template on the back, and you basically, cut out your hole, and I don't know the rest of the installation. I'll figure that out as I go. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this hole with a razor blade, so that I can use this as my template, and then go ahead and mark it out on the roof and start cutting a hole in the roof. And that way, as I'm building out my roof and installing, I can go ahead and install this with the roof. Here are my instructions. So my original plan was to put the ceiling fan either right here on this side or that side, so it's right up at the very center of the roof. But you'll notice I have some cross bracing in there. if I ever wanted to put a ceiling on this, I would have to come in here and put another cross piece up somewhere that's level to attach my ceiling to. I kind of threw these up quickly, didn't make sure that they were level. I was just making sure that there was some sort of bracing because I'm putting some weight and pressure on the roof as I build it, and I didn't want it to come falling down on me. So that's what this cross bracing is for. It's not, it hasn't been leveled out, it's not perfectly installed. And so I need to give myself a little bit of room up here to come back later and install some sort of piece that I can attach if I wanted to do some sort of ceiling up here with. We may never do that, but keeping that in mind, I try and plan ahead. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this fan somewhere right here. So it's still up pretty close to the ceiling, and it's near the stairwell, so it will suck some air up pretty good. And if I open up the window that's behind the camera there, it'll be able to pull some air through that way as well. So I think this is going to be my best place for this fan. And you'll notice that I've got a gap here. I need to cut a piece that'll slide in here. And so I'm going to climb up here and cut this circle here, this kind of half circle. And then when I install this other piece, it'll be real easy to just kind of match it up, draw it out, and cut another half circle. So I need a pencil. And I always end up losing my marking pencils. I don't know why. I don't know where they go, where they travel off to, but they're never around when I need them. So altogether, this is going to be about a 14.5-inch circle that I'm cutting out of the roof for this fan. And I'm going to use a jigsaw to cut my hole. I suppose you could use a sawzall if you really wanted to. I had a little experience with a sawzall building this building. It went through my pinky finger and delayed work for several days. So I think when you're doing something like this, if you've got a jigsaw, it's just an easier saw to control and less chance of an accident when you have a tool that's a little easier to control. That was by no means a perfect circle, but I think it worked pretty well. Now I will, as I attach this next piece, there will be some support crossboards going in here. So I'm not too worried about the fact that I'm doing this right where there's a connection. And the connection kind of makes it easier to cut with the saw because I can just bring the jigsaw back in and around as I get the next piece put on. So this should be fairly simple to do. Now I've got to go ahead and cut my pieces for both sides of the roof here, and once I get those pieces cut and put up in place, I will go ahead and work on the other half. I may go ahead and cut the other half of this before I actually install it, just to make it easier and not get working up high like I just was. But it's where my fan's gonna sit. That's exciting. I love it when things actually come out even. It's a 26th and an 8th at both ends. Should be a fairly easy board to cut. If I can find my pencil, it's in my pocket. Just write down. That's pretty much dry.
And it's been a week.
What?
I said, and it's been a week.
You thought that was a crazy idea.
You survived!